Why did Syrax, Caraxes, Sheepstealer, and Seasmoke fight? In House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 7, Explained. Spoiler warning. Before we begin, this video contains major spoilers for House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 7. If you haven't watched the episode yet, this is your chance to turn back. With that said, let's get started. Season 3, Episode 7 finally delivers something fans have been waiting for since the very beginning of House of the Dragon: a battle between multiple dragons. For a few breathtaking minutes, the skies over Westeros become absolute chaos as Syrax, Caraxes, Seasmoke, and the wild dragon Sheepstealer clash in one of the biggest dragon sequences the series has ever attempted. But one question has left many viewers confused. Why were these dragons fighting each other in the first place? Were they simply acting on instinct? Were their riders trying to kill one another? Or was there something much deeper happening beneath all that fire and destruction? Let's break it all down. At first glance, it looks like four dragons suddenly turning on each other, but that's not actually what's happening. Remember, dragons in House of the Dragon don't randomly choose enemies. They follow their riders. Their loyalty isn't to another dragon, it's to the person they've bonded with. And in Episode 7, those loyalties collide. The confrontation begins when Rhaenyra discovers that Rhaena has secretly bonded with the wild dragon Sheepstealer and that Daemon has been hiding the truth from her. What begins as an attempt to confront the situation quickly spirals into a dangerous aerial encounter involving multiple dragons. Let's start with Syrax. Syrax is Rhaenyra's dragon. Like its rider, Syrax isn't naturally aggressive. But when Rhaenyra believes someone she loves may be in danger, Syrax immediately responds. That's exactly what dragons do. They feel their rider's emotions: fear, anger, determination. Syrax mirrors every one of them. Then there's Caraxes, Daemon's legendary bloodworm. Unlike Syrax, Caraxes has spent years in battle. He's unpredictable, violent, and one of the fiercest dragons alive. Caraxes doesn't hesitate. If Daemon senses a threat, Caraxes is ready to fight before anyone else. That's why the moment tensions rise, Caraxes becomes a major part of the confrontation. Now let's talk about Seasmoke. By this point in the story, Seasmoke has a new rider and has become one of Team Black's most valuable dragons. Unlike Caraxes, Seasmoke isn't looking for a fight. But once dragons begin circling one another, there is no easy way to stay out of it. Every rider understands one terrifying reality: if one dragon attacks, the others must respond, because hesitation can mean death. And finally, there's Sheepstealer, perhaps the most unpredictable dragon in the entire battle. Unlike Syrax, Caraxes, or Seasmoke, Sheepstealer isn't a dragon raised inside the dragon pit. It's wild. It survived for years without human control. It trusts almost no one. Even after accepting a rider, its instincts remain completely different from every other dragon in the sky. When several dragons suddenly surround it, Sheepstealer reacts exactly as a wild animal would. It fights to survive. Not because it wants war, but because it believes it's trapped. Reviewers noted that the encounter emphasizes Sheepstealer's feral nature, making it very different from the trained royal dragons. Another important detail many viewers missed: the dragons themselves aren't driven by politics. They don't understand Team Black or Team Green. They don't care about succession. They don't care about the Iron Throne. They're reacting to danger, to fear, to commands from their riders. Once one dragon becomes aggressive, the others instinctively prepare for battle. That's why the confrontation escalates so quickly. There's also something symbolic happening here. Think about the dragons involved. Syrax represents Rhaenyra. Caraxes represents Daemon. Seasmoke represents the new generation of dragon riders. And Sheepstealer represents the wild, uncontrollable future of dragonkind. They're not just fighting each other, they're representing different visions of House Targaryen itself: order, experience, new blood, and untamed power. Many fans also notice that the sequence isn't about deciding a winner. Instead, it's about showing how impossible it has become to control dragons once the dance reaches its final stages. Every new dragon entering the war makes future battles even more unpredictable. Every new rider increases the risk that one mistake could trigger complete disaster. Episode 7 isn't simply showing dragons fighting. It's showing that the dance has reached the point where even dragons can no longer be contained. Perhaps the saddest part of the battle is realizing that none of these magnificent creatures truly chose this war. They were bonded to humans. They inherited human conflicts, and now they're forced to burn, bleed, and fight because their riders cannot settle their differences. That's one of George R.R. Martin's biggest themes throughout the Dance of the Dragons. The dragons may be the most powerful creatures in the world, but they're also among the greatest victims of human ambition. By the end of the confrontation, everyone understands one terrifying truth. If 4 dragons can clash like this, imagine what will happen when even more dragons enter the war. The Dance of the Dragons has only just begun, and the skies of Westeros are about to become even deadlier. The brutal dragon fight in House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 7 is a turning point for Team Black. This sequence showcases how wild instincts contrast against trained war dragons. The choreography highlights why a 3 versus 1 dragon fight is an ugly, lopsided affair that leaves deep scars. The confrontation begins with raw tension. Rhaenyra Syrax and Adam of Hull's Seasmoke manage to corner Sheepstealer. The wild dragon is a battle-hardened survivor covered in old scars, and he reacts like a trapped animal. He shows absolutely no fear toward the royal beasts. Despite being outnumbered, Sheepstealer fights with terrifying ferocity. He lunges at Syrax, snapping his jaws near her wings and dealing a severe blow to her flank. For a moment, it looks like Syrax might not survive the chaotic assault. Seasmoke flies in to intercept, using his speed to distract the wild beast, but Sheepstealer refuses to back down. He blasts dirty red flame, holding both attackers at bay through sheer stamina. The entire dynamic changes when Daemon Targaryen arrives on Caraxes. Known as the Bloodworm, Caraxes brings an entirely different level of violence to the battlefield. Caraxes uses his unique, long, serpentine body to strike from unpredictable angles. He slams his powerful back legs into Sheepstealer, sending the wild dragon crashing hard into the rocky valley floor. With Sheepstealer grounded, the real beatdown begins. Syrax, Seasmoke, and Caraxes coordinate a ruthless, simultaneous attack. Caraxes swoops down low and uses his massive jaws to clamp down hard around Sheep's head. This is where the lopsided nature of the fight becomes heartbreaking. Caraxes delivers deep, potentially mortal bites into the wild dragon's neck, tearing scales and drawing heavy streams of blood. Amidst this terrifying violence, Rhaenyra recognizes the extreme danger. She rushes through the heavy ash and smoke to grab Rhaena, pulling her safely onto Syrax's saddle. Realizing they must retreat, Daemon barks a harsh order to Adam of Hull. He commands Adam to take Seasmoke and fly away immediately to protect Rhaenyra on her journey back to King's Landing. Daemon explicitly states that he will stay behind to finish off Sheepstealer. Once and for all, the wild dragon's survival instincts kick in at the last second. Even with injuries, Sheepstealer refuses to die. He unleashes a sudden, massive burst of blinding smoke directly into Caraxes' face. Blinded by the soot, Caraxes loses his iron grip. Wasting no time, the bleeding wild dragon pulls his head free, painfully scrambles backward toward the cliff edge, and collapses into the thick canyon fog below. He successfully escapes into the mist, leaving Daemon and a frustrated Caraxes behind in the quiet, ruined valley. Has never been another dragon. It's always been the war their riders chose to fight. So what did you think of this incredible dragon battle? Which dragon impressed you the most? Caraxes, Syrax, Seasmoke, or the wild Sheepstealer? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more House of the Dragon explainers, hidden details, and fire and blood lore.